Max, we've got one more thing to do today.
Dumbest.
It's not the dumbest thing.
Stupid.
You like
No
this
one
segment
cares.
because this
It's
segment
just
is free
good.
money!
No. It's so dumb.
Free money. My college
not free
football
money.
picks against the spread.
It's free money for your bookies.
Free money. So go ahead and trust me. I
Don't
know what I'm
don't
doing.
trust him at all.
So far, I'm 24-36 on the year, and but we had a winning. We had a winning.
Did you win one game more than you lost last week?
4-3 last week.
My God!
And I would have gone 5-3, but
for those meddling kids.
But A&M and Alabama pushed. They Vegas knows what they're doing. They've set the line at 19. And remember how we were talking about how wow, that's really too high. Vegas knows what they're doing. 19 on the nose. So I pushed on that one. So I went 4-3 last week. Pretty good, above 500. Here comes the comeback. All right,
Wow.
Max. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. What's first?
Speaking of the Aggies, New Mexico State and Larry Rose III coming to town. The Ags, a 43.5-point favorite.
Yeah. So this is interesting only because of the line. Look, A&M's going to win.
Right.
A&M's going to win big.
Yeah.
The only question is, are they going to win this big? And for those who don't know about New Mexico State, you mentioned Larry Rose III. He's their boy, and he's already got. Although he's been a little bit hampered this year, although he's still their leading rusher.
I mean, all you really need to know about New Mexico State is they couldn't beat UTEP. And UTEP has turned out to be very bad.
They
and
could not beat UTEP.
UTEP has been bad, so bad that they are thankful that Rice exists because that is the only team worse than them.
Here's the other problem for them. Okay, the other problem is that they is that this defense really stinks.
It's so bad.
Okay, this defense gives up 41.6 points per game, and it's not like they've run some gauntlet. Okay, they've played UTEP, they played New Mexico, they've played Kentucky. I mean, A&M's the toughest team on their schedule by a considerable margin. They're already giving up 41.6 points per game.
Oh boy.
The question is A&M going to cover 43.5? I'm going to say yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to say yeah. I'm going to take A&M plus 43.5.
Sure.
I would advise against betting on this game, but I will take A&M plus 40 or minus 43.5.
Okay.
That's what I'll go with. I just don't ask a bad team to do good, and New Mexico State is decidedly a bad team.
On the road, no less.
On the road. What's next?
Those Rice Owls I was just talking about, they're in Ruston this weekend, and they are 29-point dogs to Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, so this could be potentially very bad news bears for them because I think this Louisiana Tech team is really, really good, and Rice does not seem particularly suited to take advantage of their weakness, which is that Louisiana Tech's defense is not very good.
Doesn't matter.
Not very good. That's the problem, is that if you're giving up 44 points to a hampered Prairie View A&M team, what is at home?
Yeah.
What is Louisiana Tech going to do to you?
Yeah.
I think there's a fair chance that Rice scores 35 points in this game and still doesn't cover.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Louisiana Tech minus 29. I just think that you take that home team there, and I think Ryan Higgins is going to carve him up. I think it's going to be bad. So I'm going to take Louisiana Tech.
Hutto's finest.
Hutto's finest. What's next?
Central Florida comes into Houston. Cougs, despite all their troubles, still 9.5-point favorites.
Here's the thing, though, is Central Florida a good team?
I think
they're 4-3,
getting better team.
They are getting better.
It's important
team.
to remember they didn't win a game last year.
Let's put it. I mean, it is important to remember that they are getting better, and I think that's something they've got something they can build on. But overall, this team's very meh.
Yeah.
And I'm torn because part of me thinks, Houston's going to be angry. They're going to come home and drop the hammer. That's what I said against Tulsa.
Yeah.
And I got burned. I might be done betting on Houston. I just think they're too hard to predict. I would stay away from this one, but I'm going to take Central Florida plus 9.5.
Wow.
I think they keep it close. I think Houston's in a weird place mentally. I like Central Florida here. What's next? I think Houston wins.
I think because you've been swayed that far, Houston will do everything.
I think
you're
you're exactly
expecting
right.
them to do.
Oh, I think you're right. But that's what free
Fair
money
enough.
is.
Yeah.
I'll take Central Florida plus 9.5. To be clear, I think Houston wins. But
Right.
go on.
All
What's
right.
next?
Old Dominion heads out to El Paso, and El Paso and UTEP is a 4.5-point dog at home.
A road dog to a bad Old Dominion team. This is where we're at now. Now granted, let me rephrase. Old Dominion's not bad.
Not bad.
They're just not good. They're an average team.
Yeah.
And normally I would say, oh, well, being in El Paso will help. Or, oh, well, having the momentum of a big, thrilling 5-overtime win over UTSA will help. But none of those things have helped in the past. This year, they have not been good at home. Mm-hmm. In fact, UTEP is 1-3 at home, okay, including losses to Army and Florida International.
Yep.
And those games were decided. I mean, they got drubbed by Army, and they lost to Florida International by 14. You think Old Dominion's going to be any worse than them? I don't. I'm taking Old Dominion minus 4.5.
That's fair enough.
I'm just done trusting these teams. What's next?
The Ponies, SMU, going into New Orleans. Somehow 3-point favorites, which is amazing. Are they dogs?
They're dogs.
Oh,
Tulane's 3-point favorite.
All right. 3-point dogs, but I'm not buying that. They should win that.
I don't know,
No,
right?
I think they've turned a corner. And it's Tulane. Who cares?
It's Tulane. Who cares?
Yeah.
Tulane's not very good. I mean, that's going to be basically the theme of this week is not very good teams playing not very good teams, and I do think that Tulane has been better at home than they've been on the road. But I wonder if SMU's turned a corner. I think I'm going to take SMU +3.
You're not worried about a letdown?
I'm not worried about a letdown. I think they go on the road, and I think that they're flying high. I think they keep it going. I think Ben Hicks has another big game, and I think the defense comes up with a number of turnovers.
Fair enough.
I like them.
Okay.
What's next?
North Texas going to the Alamo Dome, home of #WeirdFootball.
Mm-hmm.
But UTSA still 3.5-point favorites.
Interesting, right?
Right.
So that's basically saying that Vegas thinks these guys are
home edge.
Yeah, this is basically a home field advantage play.
Right.
And the one thing that you can now be guaranteed is that every game played in the Alamo Dome will be weird.
Yeah.
Right? That's the only thing that's guaranteed.
Especially the big ones.
The question is, has North Texas turned a corner? I don't think UTSA has, but has North Texas turned a corner? One thing to consider is that has North Texas won a road game yet? Yeah, they won at Army last week, right? So they've won one road, or no, they've won two because they won at Rice too.
That's right. Yeah.
So the question is, can they continue this magic against the bad UTSA team on the road? I think you give me 3.5 points, I'll take it. I'm going to take North Texas +3.5.
Okay.
I think if you buy in the trend line, then UTSA is trending down and North Texas is trending up.
May I offer a counter?
By all means.
UTSA scored a hell of a lot of points in that game last week.
They sure did.
It's not as if they were listless and lost in that game.
True. Against UTEP.
And
we
UTEP,
think that
but
we think North Texas is better than UTEP.
We do, absolutely. But I do wonder if there is a factor of giving last week's game too much credit for UTSA going forward. I think they're actually better than the sentiment feels after last week's game.
I think that maybe you're right. And if they play like they did against Southern Miss, then they're going to romp in this game.
We'll see.
But right now I'm buying the trend line.
That's fair enough.
The trend line has North Texas, especially North Texas, two straight wins. Marshall and Army, I think they're feeling it. I think they keep it going.
Okay.
In fact, they've won 3 of their last 4.
There you go.
What's next?
The final 2 are crazy. I have no idea how
these are
to
tough.
any of this. Texas Tech will be at Ammon G. Carter. 2:30 p.m. Saturday. TCU, 9.5-point favorite. How?
Because Tech in Lubbock is different than Tech on the road.
This is fair.
That's the biggest thing.
Right.
And I think that's what's so clear here. Now, Oklahoma did for all of the bad they did on defense, they did not make any mistakes offensively. They were downright flawless offensively.
Yeah.
And I think that TCU is going to give the ball away a couple times. That's just what they do.
I just hear my only thing with this game is if there is a offense that is prone to inconsistency it is TCU.
It is
in
absolutely.
Texas FBS teams. Like,
And
it's just
and
you don't know
so
what you're getting.
Let's say that Tech scores their average number of points. Okay, let's just say they score their average number of points, which is 50.
50. Okay.
50. Let's even knock it down. Let's say it's 48.
48.
Do you trust the TCU offense to put up 48 points at home? More importantly, do you trust the TCU offense to put up 58 at home?
No.
I don't.
No.
That's where I'm at on it. I think I'm going to take Tech in the points just because I think that if this thing gets into a shootout, the advantage is very clearly on the Tech side.
Yeah, I think so too.
So I don't think either of these teams can play any defense. Obviously, Tech's is worse than TCU's. I don't think that's really a
Also,
hot sports
there's
opinion.
no reason to believe that Gary Patterson has some formula for Tech because look what happened last year.
Absolutely.
You know?
I totally agree. All right, and finally.
The Baylor Bears going down to Austin in that trash fire. They're 3.5-point favorites on the road.
This is a baffling line to me.
You think it should be way higher?
I think it should be way higher.
Yeah.
I think
this is a reflection of who Baylor's played so far, which
I
is
think
nobody.
that's absolutely true. I think this is Vegas being a little bit scared and not really knowing what Baylor is. Now,
I don't really know what Texas is.
Now, correct. Now, to be fair, in my opinion, this is the best team that Baylor has played so far. That is not saying a lot, but I think this is the best team that Baylor has played so far. They are going on the road, and we know that Baylor on the road is different than Baylor in Waco. We know that this Baylor defense is prone to farting around, and we know that the Texas offense can catch fire.
Yes.
We also know that there is probably a sense of urgency around the Texas program, right?
Yeah.
That if you drop this game, you're probably not – I mean, they're probably not going bowling anyway, but the climb gets a lot steeper.
Yeah.
I think there's a sense of urgency. Taking Baylor in -3.5. I just don't you take the better team, right?
Yeah.
The better team is Baylor. Baylor's better than Texas. I think they cover 3.5 because here's the thing. I don't see them winning by 2.
Right.
So, like, they're either going to lose and it's going to be shocking regardless,
Right.
or they're going to win. They're going to win by 10 or 15 or 20.
Yeah.
So, I like Baylor -3.5. So, my free money picks this week, I like A&M -43.5 against New Mexico State. I like Louisiana Tech -29 against Rice. I like Central Florida +9.5 at Houston. I like Old Dominion +4.5 at UTEP. I like SMU +3 at Tulane. I like North Texas +3.5 at UTSA. I like Texas Tech +9.5 at TCU, and I like Baylor -3.5 at Texas.